Hello and welcome you in the course of Probability and Statistics. I am your instructor Hardik Joshi. Now, today we should learn about student T distribution and more precisely the second application corresponding to T distributions. So, the second application is the test of the hypothesis for equality of means. That is, we have to check the mean corresponding to two normal population are equal or not equal, where both the population, that is both the random experiment x and y are independent random sample. So here we have to assume say x1 x2 up to xm is an say m observation corresponding to the first population, where we have to assume y1 y2 up to yn, that is total n observation corresponding to the second population observation, and this both x1 up to xm and y1 up to yn are independent random sample. Now this first x1 x2 up to xm is drawn from the normal distribution with mean is mu and the variance is sigma square. Now this x, that is stand for the first population x. Now this second y1 y2 up to yn, that is n observation, is taken from the second normal population with mean mu and variance sigma square. So when this type of situation is occur, the corresponding T statistics is equivalent x bar minus y bar minus mu x minus mu y upon s into square root of 1 upon m plus 1 upon n, where x bar and y bar are known as the sample mean corresponding to this population 1 and population 2 respectively. Now mu is the population mean. Remember, x bar is the sample mean whereas mu is the population mean. So mu x and mu y are the population mean corresponding to this first population and second population. Now s is the standard deviation, which is a combination of both the population 1 as well as population 2, upon this denominator m plus n minus 2. Now m, that is the total number of observation in the first data, that is population, n, that is total number of observation in the second population, minus 2. Now this m plus n minus 2 is known as the degree of freedom. So just remember this T statistics corresponding to this second application of this T distribution. Now just quickly we have to see the procedure. Now almost all the step in this procedure is same, just there is minor change in the selection of the T statistics. So the step number 1. Now here we have to check the equality of mean corresponding to two population. So we have to consider mu x and mu y is the mean corresponding to the population 1 and population 2. Remember here one thing, the variance, that is sigma square corresponding to first as well as second population are assumed to be equal and unknown. That is sigma x square and sigma y square both are equal but is unknown. So we have to develop the null hypothesis, the mean corresponding to both the population are same. And in the against of this we have to develop the alternative hypothesis. That is, these two means are not equal. Either first, that is mu x is greater than mu y, so ultimately again these are not equal, or the last case mu x is less than mu y. So step 1 is almost same. Step number 2, we have to gather the data, we have to collect the sample. So we have to consider two population and we have to select random sample x1 to xn, that is m observation from the first population, y1 y2 up to yn, that is n observation from the second population. Remember the value of n and value of n must be less than 30, because we know that T statistics, that is T distribution, is applicable if and only if the size of the sample is a small sample. If the size of the sample is greater or equal to 30, then we have to refer or we have to go through the Z statistics. Also, we have to take care this both the population x1 to xm, y1 to yn are independent. Step number 3. Before testing the hypothesis, definitely we have to identify the level of significance, that is alpha. It may be 1%, 5%. Now, again here we have to write down the T statistics, x bar minus y bar minus mu x minus mu y upon s upon square root of 1 upon m plus 1 upon m, where x bar and y bar are the sample mean corresponding to the first population and second population respectively. Mu x and mu y are the population mean corresponding to first population, second population respectively. Now S is the standard deviation which is calculated by using this formula. In the suffix we have to write down P, that is stand for say standard deviation corresponding to say pool data. Yeah, we have to say that is a combined standard deviation for population 1, that is Sx, and population 2, that is Sy. In the basis, that is context of the null hypothesis, we have to assume the null hypothesis there is no significant difference between two population mean. So mu x equal to mu y, that is this term is 1 is. And now these are just we have to discuss the standard deviation in our previous slide, where this standard deviation Sx square is equivalent to 1 upon m minus 1 sum over 1 to m xi minus x bar whole square, where x bar is the sample mean corresponding to the first population and m is the size of the data of the first population. Similarly, we have to define Sy square. Now, on the basis of previous slide, we have to calculate the value of T statistic. These are known as the observed T value, is sometimes also known as calculated T value. So by solving this, we have to get the calculated T value whose degree of freedom is m plus n minus 2, where m and n are the total number of observations in the population 1 and population 2 respectively. Now step number 5. These are the same thing. In step number 4, we have to gather in all the data, sample mean, population mean, standard deviation. So in this observed T value, we have to plug in all the data and we have to obtain the value of T naught. So these are our step number 5. Now step number 6. Now once we have to calculate the observed, that is calculated T value, then we have to compare that calculated T value with the experimental yet tabulated T value. Now to identify the tabulated T value, we have to require say few things. First of all, identify is a two-sided test, one-sided test. Now second, you have to identify the degree of freedom. Degree of freedom, that is n minus 1, but in this case is m plus n minus 2. And these are the level of significance. Now step number 7. On the basis of that, finally we have to give our decision whether the null hypothesis is reject or not reject based on this decision. If it is a two-sided test, then it must satisfy this condition, then we have to reject the null hypothesis. Similarly, if a one-sided test, then if it satisfies this condition, then we have to reject the null hypothesis. Otherwise, we have to do not reject the null hypothesis. So we have to see or we have to go through the basic procedure. So let's see the example. So it gives a better understanding of all the basic strategy. So let's see the example. The question tells that the following table gives the score. Now the obtained score is out of 15 of two batches, that is batch 1 and batch 2 of student in say any particular examination. So the batch 1, say first students got the 6 marks, second student got 7 marks, third student got 9 marks, and so on. The last student got the 11 marks. Similarly, in batch 2, the first student got 5 marks, second student got 6 marks, and last student got the 7 marks. So first of all, we have to identify how many students is in batch 1 and batch 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 students in batch 1 and now there are 2 less students in batch 2, that is there are 8 students in batch 2. Now our aim is we have to test this hypothesis at 1% level of significance to identify that the average performance of the students in batch 1 and batch 2 are equal. So let's start the solution. So on the basis of the procedure we have to define the hypothesis. So first of all we have to define the null hypothesis. Say there is no significant difference in the performance score of the batch 1 and batch 2 student. That's why we have to write down say mu x is equal to mu y. Where mu x and mu y are the say population mean corresponding to batch 1 and batch 2. Now on the basis of this we have to define alternative hypotheses which are in against of this null hypothesis. So H1 that is mu x not equal to mu y. Remember here we have to claim that the average performance of the students in batch are equal. That's why in against we have to consider not equal to, because it includes both the case mu x less than mu y, mu x greater than mu y. So that is the average performance of students in batch 1 and batch 2 are not equal. So remember these are a two-sided tail test. Now step number 2, gather the data. So just we have to observe that in batch number 1 there are 10 students, so m is equal to 10. In batch number 2 there are 8 students, so value of n is 8. Now in question the level of significance is given say 1%. So is our step number 3. So in step number 4 we have to calculate the t statistic, that is value of 2 on the basis of the null hypothesis. So t statistics is equivalent x bar minus y bar upon s into square root of 1 upon m plus 1 upon n. So next our aim is we have to calculate this sample mean corresponding to batch 1, batch 2 and calculate this standard deviation which is a combination of both batch 1 as well as batch 2. So first of all we have to calculate the sample mean. So x bar is nothing, just we have to calculate the sum score by all the students in batch 1. So we have to get 70 and there are total 10 students, so 70 by 10. So sample mean corresponding to batch 1 is 7. Similarly sample mean corresponding to batch 2. Now 40 is nothing but is a score achieved by 8 students in batch 2 and there are total 8 students, so we have to divide by 8. So sample mean corresponding to batch 2 is 5. Now step number 5. We have to calculate the test statistic, that is the obtain the observed t value. So here for simplicity we have to prepare a table. So these are the xi, that is the score obtained by student in batch 1. These are the yi, score obtained by student in batch 2. Now x bar is already we have to calculate say is 7, that is sample mean corresponding to batch 1, sample mean corresponding to batch 2, that is y bar is 5. So we have to calculate mu y xi minus x bar. So it's simply 6 minus 7 minus 1, 7 minus 7 0, so on 11 minus 7 is 4 and sum of ui leads 0. In next column we have to calculate ui square. So minus 1 square 1, 0 square 0, 2 square 4, so on 4 square 16. So we have to calculate sum of ui square 108. Similarly we have to calculate sum of vi, that is 0, sum of vi square 38 corresponding to batch 2. So finally we have to plug in all these value to calculate the standard deviation. So standard deviation corresponding to batch 1. So is 1 by 9 sum of xi minus x bar square is nothing but ui square, because we have to define ui is equal to xi minus x bar square. So is 108 divided by n, so we have to get sx square is 10. Similarly we have to calculate sy square is 5.4. So we have to use the formula of standard deviation which is a combination of both batch 1 as well as batch 2. So just by plugging the value of n and this sx square and sy square, and by simplifying this we have to get the standard deviation is approximately 3 point something. So plug in all these value in the t statistics, that is t is equivalent to x bar minus y bar. Now x bar, that is sample mean for batch 1, y bar sample mean for batch 2, that is 7 minus 5, upon standard deviation, that is 3.021, upon 1 upon m, that is the total number of observation in the batch 1, that is 10, total number of observation in batch 2, that is n, so 8. So by solving this, we have to get the observed t value is 1.3957. Now next step number 6, we have to obtain the critical value. So here it is defined in the question, we have to consider 1% level of significance. Now also in alternative hypothesis, we have to define is a two-sided alternative test. So just remember, is a two-sided alternative test, level of significance is 1%, degree of freedom is m plus n minus 2. But m is 10, n is 8, that is 10 plus 8, 18 minus 2, so 16. So degree of freedom is 16, 1% level of significance. So we have to collect this value 2.921 from the t distribution table. So in the next slide, I will show you how we can obtain or how we can collect this t value from the t distribution table. So see here, these are the t distribution table, is a two-sided tail. Now 1% level of significance, degree of freedom is 16, so the corresponding value is 2.921. So we have to collect or we have to take this value, is known as the calculated tabulated t value. So finally in step number 7, we have to give our decision. So in this margin, we have to write down this step number 7, that is the rejection rule, which I have to discuss in the when we have to see what is the procedure. So these are the two-sided alternative test, and we know that the null hypothesis is rejected if it satisfies this condition. But in our case, now see what is the observed t value is 1.39 and tabulated, that is experimental t value is 2.921. So in our case 1.39 less than 2.921, that is observed t value less than experimental t value. And the rejection rule suggests that if the observed t value is greater equal to experimental t value, then we have to reject the null hypothesis. But in this case, is totally opposite of this. These are greater equal to, and we have to obtain is less than. It means that, it indicates that the given sample contains or insufficient evidence to reject the null hypothesis. So we have to not satisfy this condition. If this condition is satisfied, then we have to say that the null hypothesis is rejected. But here the condition is not satisfied, so we have to conclude that the null hypothesis do not reject. That is, null hypothesis is accepted. Null hypothesis is accepted, it means that the mean performance of the student in these batches are equal because the null hypothesis is accepted. So thank you so much for paying your attention.